Hello and welcome back to Indalo Model Railway. Well, it's a very hot day here again here in Spain, and things are changing. I don't mean just the track, but I'm actually changing and I'm actually building a fiddle yard. I'm adding a fiddle yard to my layout, and it actually is going to consist of about 6 different lanes. I'll show you the plan in a minute, but I cannot stress enough, when you are laying a new layout down or a fiddle yard, you have to plan. And if you can get hold of some software, there are plenty of free software that you can get online. There's I think it's called Railcom, or there's another one, another name. I'll put it in the show notes below. But you really do need to actually have some form of idea, not just put track and points together, because you're going to run into problems. Now, if you're like me and you sort of really actually over plan it, then obviously, you know, it can take a little bit of time. And this has, I must admit, it's taken me probably about 3 or 4 months to actually get to this stage. And you'll see why in a minute. So I'm going to turn the camera around, you can actually have a look. Hello, well, this is the plan. This is the fiddle yard for Indalo Mod Railway, and it consists of 6 lines, and 2 of them here are for the new terminus station that I'm going to be installing. This will come in from the decline. As you may remember from my layout, I actually have an incline, and then it comes round and it goes, I've actually taken it down, and it will then come into here. That's where the cut. Now I want this board here to be detachable. Now you're going to notice on here some markings that I've put. Now this is actually 60 wide. I've got 2 boards here of 30 centimeters each. Now the reason they're 30 centimeters each is not because I designed it like that, it's purely because I actually got these 2 boards here for free. I got these from a skip. There's a house being remodeled around the corner, and I asked the guy, I said, would you mind if I have them? It saves me buying it, because wood here in Spain is quite expensive. And this will actually cover the full length. You see it's 221. It will cover the full length of that yard. So we're coming out here at the moment. You see there's 221 right there. So I've got to take a little bit off the edge here, which I'm going to do next. But if I put these 2 side by side, then it will be the 60 wide. And I'll be able to actually put everything I need that's on this plan. I cannot stress, you need to plan. You need to do this because you've got to make sure that all the track lines up. And most importantly, when you do lay it out, is that you want to make sure that if you are using motors, for example, that are underneath the baseboard, like I had before, which is the Cobalt IP digital motors, or any other form of tortoise motor that goes actually underneath the baseboard, you're not going to be hitting, as I have done once, the cross members. Now on the main layout, there's only 1 point where it does actually cross the, it goes over the cross member, and I could not fit a tortoise motor underneath, so I had to put a solenoid on top. So now I've got this plan, I can see where it's not going to get any hindrance on any of the points. Now, as you know, the points are actually executed on the term at the very beginning, not at the end here. So just about there, at the beginning of the points, that is where you actually can put the pin for the motor, and it will flip it back and forwards. So putting it through here, which is towards the end of these wide points, and that's a left-hand turnout point there, it's not going to hinder it. And the same likewise up here as well. I've made sure to keep it to the end of these points, not at the beginning, and also there, and they're just straight, so that doesn't matter. Now you're also going to notice as well that there's some dots, some orange dots here. Now what that is for, there's 12 of them. I want to actually do block detection on this fiddle yard, so I know exactly what train is where, because if I can't see some of this, and my plan is, which will be another video, to cover half of this, so probably to about there, I will have a street and you'll actually be able to then walk down the stairs in the model world to the station which is below it. Okay, so there's going to be a street that's at this sort of level. But you know, I'm not going to be able to always see where this is. So block detection is also going to be very useful. It's also going to be very useful for doing things like shuttle runs and things like that. So I'll cover all that in another video when I get the module. I've got it on order, so it should be here in the next couple of days. Now, track and turnouts are not cheap, and all what I've got here cost around 400 euros. So I've got, I think it was 12 altogether. I've got about 7 of the left hand and about 6 of the right hand, or something like that, and a couple of other bits of track and a lot of flexible track. I use a lot of this stuff. It's about 914 millimeters, just under a meter long. As you can see there's a break, there's one bit and there's another bit. And it's also then very good for doing block detection. So along this back here, which is this section here on the map, I can actually put 2 plastic fish plates right in there where that break is. Obviously I've got to actually do drippers for that section and that section, but those would be 2 independent blocks as I've indicated here. So there's one there and there's one there. So you'll see when a train comes in, and you'll also see when it eventually arrives in this area. But the reason I've done 2 is because that is actually just under 2 meters in length. So that will allow me to park both of my 2 DMUs in there, my 3-car and my 4-car DMU. And with the particular system I'm using, it will actually identify what train is actually in those sections. So it's going to be very useful for me to say, especially if I can't see it and it's covered, or I just don't know where the train is. A lot of the time I'm going to be driving the trains from the actual map, obviously looking up as well, but the main thing is I need to see what points are open, what's closed. Now the other thing is as well, when I actually put all this together, I'm going to actually install some signals. Now the signals work very, very well that I've got with the Cobalt IP digital motors, and obviously it will actually turn them red, amber, green, and also it will actually detect if there's actually that there is a blockage, i.e. if there is a train coming down here and the point was turned, in this case right, it would show that you couldn't go through to go out. So at that point, that particular block here, this section, it would say that you have to stop. So there's loads of things like that that I'm going to be creating on here. But as I say, the planning is very, very important. So the next thing I'm going to do here now is actually get this piece of wood cut to length, and then after that lay the 2 down and start to actually lay out all of the track according to the plan, just loosely, so I can then see if it does fit what it says on the plan. I've also got more of this on order, but this is just some roll of self-adhesive cork, because obviously on the bed I'm going to be actually putting all of the track onto this cork. So I will actually just cut it to the right width, probably leave another couple of millimeters, and then lay that down and lay all the track on top of that. But firstly, I will actually get all the layout put on the baseboard and see how it looks, and I will drop you a video when that is done.